Example 16 is an example of the type of question in sequences and series that you need to read very, very carefully. So we've got a term, which is term 6, which is equal to 28, and a sum, which is sum to term 14, which is 308. One of the tricks or traps that you might fall into is reading them both as terms or both as sums, so be careful that you're reading the right ones. We're being asked to find the common difference. So we start by writing down what it is that T6 actually tells us. T6 tells us that 28 equals our first term plus 5 lots of our difference. S14 tells us that 308 equals 14 on 2 outside of 2a plus 13d. If you're not sure where that came from, it's using the formula Sn equals n on 2 outside of 2 times the first term plus n minus 1 lots of d. So you can see that n is 14 and n minus 1 is 13. So that's where that has come from. From here, we've got 2 equations and 2 unknowns, so what we can do is rearrange them so that they can be set equal to each other. We want to find the common difference, so let's eliminate a. So a equals 28 minus 5d. On the sum to 14, we multiply by 2 and divide by 14 on both sides to get rid of this fraction out the front, and it becomes 44 equals 2a plus 13d. Rearrange that to get 44 minus 13d equals 2a, and then divide it down to get a equals 44 minus 13d, and I'm just going to leave that whole thing over 2, even though we can say that 44 divided by 2 is 22, and I'll show you why that's helpful in a minute. Now we've got 2 equations that both equal a, so we can set them equal to each other. So therefore, 28 minus 5d equals 44 minus 13d all over 2. The reason I left that 2 in the denominator is so I can multiply by 2 on both sides. 28 by 2 is 56, minus 5d by 2 is 10d, and then the numerator just stays the same. I just think that's a little bit easier to deal with than 13 over 2, but it's up to you. Then we collect like terms and simplify, so we'll add 13d to both sides. So minus 10d plus 13d is 3d. 44, and we'll take 56. So 44 take 56 is negative 12. Divide by 3, d equals negative 4. So our common difference is negative 4. Hence, find T1 and T2. Well, we know that we can find any term if we've got the first term and the common difference. We just found the common difference, but we've got to go and find the first term. I'm going to sub it back into the easier of the 2 equations, which is this a equals 28 minus 5d. So a is 28 minus 5 lots of negative 4, which is 28 plus 20, which is 48. My apologies for the wobbly pen. I'm not sure why it's doing that, and I don't know how to stop it. Sorry. So a is actually T1. Remember, a and T1 are used interchangeably, so we can conclude immediately that T1 equals 48. And we know that our common difference is negative 4, so T2 is going to be our first term plus 1 lot of our common difference, which is 1 lot of negative 4. So T2 equals 44. Therefore, T1 equals 48, T2 equals 44. And that's it. You can go and do the exercises now that are listed on the bottom of page 14, which is exercise 10E, questions 1 to 12, but not question 4. Thanks.